Exodia, I choose you! Hello Internet Allies, how you doing? So, today what I wanted to do, and I can't believe I've not made a video about this yet, is talk about some of my favourite childhood cartoons. Because, well, basically, I love cartoons. I'm a huge cartoon fan. I love animation. It is like one of my favourite genres of media, and I think it's also quite an underrated one, especially when you get older. You know, you don't really get many people talking about different animated shows that they like. And today what I wanted to do is talk about some of my favourite cartoons and stuff growing up. Now before I start, this isn't going to include like cartoons I've gotten into as an adult. So, for example, there's the Clone Wars, there's Avatar The Last Airbender, Steven Universe, that is an amazing one as well. Adventure Time, I love all them cartoons. I've most recently watched Castlevania on Netflix as well, which I enjoyed as well. So I just wanted to just make this video. Here we go. So, top five. So my fifth favourite cartoon growing up was Pokemon. Now, Pokemon was the first cartoon / anime I became really invested in as a child. Like, I got quite obsessed with as a kid. And even though I've not really watched much of the Pokemon TV anime series since Johto, it still holds a special place in my heart because it was like the first childhood cartoon I really properly got into. And I think what I really love about Pokemon is just kind of seeing the friendship and the bond between the Pokemon trainers. So you got like Ash, Misty and Brock, and also their Pokemon as well. So you got like Pikachu, Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur, Psyduck. Team Rocket are very excellent and entertaining villains as well. I just love the whole prepare for trouble, make it double, to protect the world from devastation, to unite all people within our nation, to denounce the evils of truth and love, to extend the reach from our stars above. Jesse, James, Team Rocket blasting off with the speed of light. Surrender now or prepare to fight. And also the iconic Team Rocket's blasting off again. Even got some quite emotional moments, especially when like Ash has to let go of some of his Pokemon. Yeah, I think maybe the reason why I stopped watching Pokemon was because he let go of Squirtle. I mean, how could you, Ash? Because Squirtle is like my favourite Pokemon. Why? I love the Squirtle squad as well. And it gives the Pokemon a lot more personality as well. And also, you know, it kind of shows the bond between Pokemon and trainer isn't always like an overnight success kind of thing. You know, like it isn't just kind of throw Pokeball, catch Pokemon, and then that's it. They just do whatever you want. You know, it takes like work and dedication and bonding. And it's kind of like having actual pets as well. You know, you've got to like get to know them and they've got to get to know you as well. So yeah, that's kind of what I like about Pokemon. Anyway, number 4, I'm going to mention my 4th favourite cartoon growing up, Phineas and Ferb. Now, what I love about Phineas and Ferb, it is great, it's so entertaining, and even though Phineas and Ferb are little kids, they are able to have big imaginations, huge adventures, and are able to do brilliant and extravagant things such as like building roller coasters, building beaches, all that amazing stuff. I find it hilarious that like Candace is trying to like get them into trouble for some reason, their sister, and having to tell their mum about what Phineas and Ferb are doing. The mum doesn't believe them, and then basically when the mum gets home, the invention or whatever Phineas and Ferb did for the day just kind of completely disappears. I love Agent P, Perry the Platypus, their pet platypus, who has to fight Dr. Doofenshmirtz, who is kind of like this kind of evil mastermind, but also kind of a bit silly, kind of a bit stupid, and is kind of a bit big softy as well, to be honest. You know, he cares a lot about his daughter Vanessa as well. They've got like so many great characters, and I love how like each episode has got like its own song as well. Like, and most of the songs are bops, like, you know, Busted. You go like, busted, I don't want to put the hurt on you. Gonna believe me that I tell you that I finally got the dirt on you. I get you Gucci goo means I love you. And I'm Lindana and I want to have fun. I'm Donna and I wanna have fun. I like I'm Me as well, like, which is another song by Vanessa, like, you know, female empowerment anthem of Phineas and Ferb, go! Yeah, and I think one thing I really love, especially about Phineas and Ferb, is that it kind of teaches the audience to make the most of every day and encourages that. Even if, you know, you don't have like the tools necessary to like build roller coasters or do such extravagant things as Phineas and Ferb, there's still lots of things you can do to make the most of every day, and I think that's a really great message for the show to teach people. Moving on to number 3 now, and this may seem a little bit basic, but SpongeBob. Despite me watching more for Your Parents as a kid, I just think SpongeBob has aged better. Also, it's a great bonding show for me and my dad, because my dad sometimes pretends to not like SpongeBob and be like a grumpy old like Squidward. And then I'm like the SpongeBob saying, but it's good for your soul. And then Dad's like, please, I have no soul. And even for like most of his birthdays and Father's Days, like, you know, sometimes I have to buy him like something SpongeBob related. I mean, this year for Father's Day, I bought him the like literally the most perfect present ever for Dad, which was a SpongeBob Hawaiian shirt. Now, my dad, he likes Hawaiian shirts, and, you know, obviously the SpongeBob thing is kind of our bonding thing, so I just thought it'd be the perfect Father's Day present for him. And I love how like different like each of the characters in SpongeBob are. You got SpongeBob, who's like always a really happy, optimistic one, and just, yeah, has that like childlike wonder about him. Squidward's like the really grumpy one, who's kind of been affected a lot by his life, like by setbacks and stuff, but he's also quite creative. But I think deep down he does care. Patrick, he's like the really adventurous one, but a bit stupid. Sandy's the sort of the clever one, but is kind of living in kind of unnatural conditions for a squirrel. Mr. Krabs, he's like obsessed with money, he doesn't really care about his workers, you know, kind of sounds like a typical manager really. And then you got Plankton, who's obsessed with getting the secret formula. Plankton's a really fun villain as well, he's quite hilarious, and it's also such a quotable show with iconic quotes such as, is mayonnaise an instrument? And all bubble-blowing babies will be beaten senseless by every able-bodied patron in the bar. And I love some of the songs, such as like the fun song and I'm a goofy goober, yeah, you're a goofy goober, yeah, we're all goofy goobers, yeah, goofy goober, 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 yeah. I love it so much. We are all goofy goobers on this channel. Let's just say that. Okay, moving on to number 2 now, and my second favourite cartoon growing up was YuGiOh. This might be a bit of a strange one because I'm not really too sure why YuGiOh I was obsessed with it, to be honest. I don't know, it just looked cool, and I think it was kind of a bit more sort of like mature for when I was watching it compared to everything else that I've mentioned on this list. And I was very obsessed with YuGiOh as a tween and obsessed with the card game. You know, I had such cool monsters and stuff, which was great. And I don't know, like, I think Yugi was like my first like man crush as well, because like, you know, he's really good looking, had a great sense of style. Yeah, like, he was great. So yeah, like, maybe he was kind of when I started thinking, actually, am I straight? I don't know. Yeah, like, maybe, you know, maybe that was the whole sort of me realising I was pansexual kind of thing. I don't know. I like the whole sort of mix of like ancient Egyptian lore and history with kind of modern day card games and modern day settings as well. I like that. And sometimes I think the show does take itself like way too seriously. Like, you know, they treat playing the card game as literally as if it's like a matter of life and death. You know, like, if you lose, your soul will be banished to the Shadow Realm for all eternity. And then it's up to like Yugi and his friends to rescue those who have been sent to the Shadow Realm for all eternity. It's a very fun show. Like, sometimes it does take itself a bit too seriously, and even when they had like the sister show YuGiOh GX, where they literally opened a school purely dedicated to the teachings of said card game. Yeah, rich boy Seto Kaibo, what are you doing with your life? Why is your money going towards this? I think that show didn't take itself quite as seriously, but like at the start, especially with like some of the characters they introduce in YuGiOh GX, such as Jaden, who is just this very like carefree, laid back guy, you know, doesn't take his studies seriously at all. But I think eventually they do end up sort of taking the show quite seriously, like they have to like stop people from taking over the world or taking over the school, and from brainwashing everyone or sending everyone's souls to the Shadow Realm or whatever. It's just like, oh my god, they're still taking themselves super seriously. And my number one favourite TV show is Digimon Adventure. So, the original Digimon Adventure, in fact. And I think what I really love about this is sort of the character development you get to see throughout the series. I think it's probably one of my favourite things, in like how each Digidestined has their own like Digimon companion who stays with them throughout the series, and how the Digimon like unconditionally love the Digidestined, even when they all make mistakes. You know, we get to see their triumphs, their failures, and what I like is that, you know, it actually tackles quite mature themes, you know, such as things around like depression, anxiety, also loss as well, and grief, fear, and family matters as well. And that's kind of stuff I didn't really get a lot of with really a lot of cartoons animation at the time. So I really applaud Digimon for that. As a blonde guy with spiky hair, Matt was my favourite character because he was like the cool one. And I think especially like at the start of it, like even though he was a bit argumentative towards Tai, like I did think he was probably the most mature and well-rounded character at the start of the series. But then when everybody caught up to him in terms of maturity, or even like surpassed him, that's basically when his flaws shone through a little bit more, and he had to kind of learn to be a bit more vulnerable and learn not to be as overprotective of his little brother TK. And Tai, I found, this is going to be an unpopular Digimon opinion, but I kind of found him quite obnoxious at the start of the season, because he was kind of had this like my way or the highway attitude, and you know, he was kind of more of like a boss than a leader. But then he kind of learns to sort of take other people's thoughts and feelings into consideration, and not just kind of do what he wants without really thinking about the consequences of other people. What I like is that like each character has their own strengths and weaknesses, and each character gets their time to shine. And even with like the sequel, so you got Digimon Adventure 2 where they introduce other new characters. I like the villains in that show, in Digimon Adventure 2. I like them a lot more than the ones in 1. I liked the Armor Digivolutions as well. They looked like super cool as well, and like the whole like Digi-Egg system thing to help the Digimon evolve. I loved that, you know, because Digimon couldn't evolve conventionally because of the Digimon Emperor. And Digimon Adventure Tri as well. I really loved that because, you know, that made me feel quite emotional as well. Because, you know, these were characters I grew up with, and again, seeing them all get the time to shine, and them all having to cope with, you know, corruption, grief, loss, and having to like sort of like restart their relationships again. You know, that made me feel like super emotional, and it was always really cool like seeing the other Mega Digivolutions other than Tai and Matt's as well. I enjoyed seeing that as well. And Gabumon is such a cutie as well. I think he's my favourite Digimon because he was Matt's and stuff, and I liked him. Like I liked, you know, he had a cool colour scheme as well. Actually, he's got like pansexual flag colour schemes. I didn't really think about that, but yay. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comments what your favourite childhood cartoons are in the comments below. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Until next time, keep smiling. Bye-bye.